With that, let's go ahead and just center into ourselves, allowing ourselves to just begin to feel our center, our core. This week, there was a gentle calling for us to come back into our heart in a really soft way. That a lot of the time we think about coming into our heart, and when we come into our heart, it's still almost a process of observing and wanting to know what is happening, or working on expanding it, or working with our intentions. And that in this moment we get an opportunity to just allow ourselves to just settle in and allow it to be the place where we hear the gentle, sweet whispers of our higher self. That the only way we truly can begin to hear or feel or sense or know this calling is to completely surrender, be silent, and let go. There was a quote I came across that was so perfect for this thought. And it was just a saying that was saying that in order to know oneself, that all one truly ever needed to do was sit in complete silence within oneself. And that just in that simple act of being in that moment, one would come to the knowing of all that is. And just allowing yourself to bring your 24-dimensional shield around you. So allowing yourself to just straighten up your Sushumna channel, your central column of your spine. Bringing that breath all the way down. And from your tailbone, breathing all the way up into your pineal gland, feeling yourself up, allowing your pineal gland to feel the pressure of your breath against it as you hold your breath. And when you can't hold it anymore, just shooting it down, the breath all the way down your Merkaba star, all the way down your central column and into the core of the earth. Saying hello to Earth Mother, saying hello to the core of the earth, hooking in with that beautiful plasmic field of the essence and radiance of divine creation. That today that we will be expanding and really beginning to know truly what the heart is. That the heart is a plasma field that is within each and every one of us, each and every living being. Every sentient being is radiating the source light within, and as a sentient being within a physical form, we find that spark right within our heart. And from the heart of Earth Mother, breathe that living plasma field up around you, create your cylinder of light, allowing it to begin to spin. And on your next exhale, shooting it out the top of your crown to the heart of the universe, the galactic core, and saying hello to our matrix in which we live, the womb of our mother, our universe, our original source field. Our home. And as you breathe home, the plasma field of home radiance back down above you, creating a lid above your container, completely hermetically sealing your field. And as you bring yourself into your field, I want you to expand your hermetic container around you. And as you expand it, play around with beginning to rotate your Merkaba field around you. So if you imagine in your top triangle, your part of your Merkaba field, it is having one spin, and the bottom part of your Merkaba spin is rotating in another direction, and they're creating a centrifugal force field around you that is radiating a toroidal field of light force field around you. It is creating your own force field of light that is your protective field, but it's also your vehicle, and it is spinning at such a frequency with your radiance and your light. Your star is spinning around you so brightly and with such veracity and velocity that it's actually kicking away anything that does not resonate at a high enough frequency for you. It is completely protecting your field. It is protecting you like an atmosphere, a force field of radiant light around you that is allowing you to have your own sacred space. And I want you just to anchor, lock, and seal this field around you. And as you are holding the sacred field around you, make your declaration of intention that you intend in this very moment that this is your sacred space, that nothing that would ever try to manipulate your field has any access to you, to your space, or to penetrate your field. This is your space. You declare only truth be able to enter into your field. You declare only your highest vibrations, frequencies, and good for you are able to enter into your field. You proclaim that only that which resonates in alliance with the law of one and within the living light has the ability to enter into your field. And that you choose to be living light now. And as you hold this energy, well, let us just say our declaration of intention together this evening. That we declare from the core of our heart our intention to serve our source. We align ourselves fully and completely to the heart of the one infinite creator. We dedicate this life to being our true heart song across all the cosmos. We surrender our ego now to be in service to the law of one mission, of first cause light as a pillar of light. In the light of truth, we declare and intend, we are that we are. I am that I am, and so it is. Taking a deep breath. And today that we ask for our guardian protectors and defenders of light to be present with us this evening to hold sacred space, that each and every one of us within the circle now, that we ask that the guardians, the dragons, and our angelic races be around us, surrounding our home, surrounding our property, creating an interdimensional field of light and protection around each and every one of us as we bring forth this high vibratory energy this evening. That in this evening, as we begin to learn about our galactic family, our galactic source, and our galactic home, that what we are truly doing is dispelling all of the myths, we are dispelling all of the lies, and we are dispelling all of the access that any of the levels of deception even have to accessing us. Because when we hold truth, lies have no ability to penetrate our field. When we hold the divinity of our truth radiating within us, we are whole, we are protected, we are safe, and we are the emissaries of light that we came here to be. And within that, I wanted to start by just going ahead and sharing a PowerPoint with you guys this evening. So today we're going to talk a little bit about just our galactic core. Last week we talked a bit about the divine Sophia. So I actually found one of the classes that we did, one of the groups that we did in January on the divine Sophia. So I'm actually re-uploading that to YouTube because it's a great way to reconnect with the divine Sophia again. So we talked a bit about the divine Sophia and this idea that she emanated or expressed herself from the divine galactic core, the galactic core. So today what I really want to do is start to tie in some information for you regarding what is a lot of this stuff we talk about? When we talk about radiant light or God's source or returning home or connecting with our guides, our guardians, higher dimensional levels and realms, these terms become so blasé for all of us that do we actually really know what a lot of this stuff is? Because most of the times we hear these kinds of terms and we are really sitting here thinking about them kind of in metaphysical terms or from kind of a meditative state as really ideas or thoughts or feelings. But I really want to start to tie in that this is actually a very visceral and a very tangible thing within our universe. And this is going to give us a little bit more of a connection level when we start to get more adept at connecting with the guardian races. So you hear me use the term the guardians or the guardian races, or, you know, when we talk about connecting with our guides or our higher self. Again, a lot of times those are just terms that we just kind of go like, oh, okay, we were just kind of downloading info or getting information. But the truth is these are actual beings. These are actual, many times, physical beings who are completely in a dedicated state. Much how we make the declaration of intention before we start to be our service to the law of one mission. How we make the dedication to dedicate our ego to source so that we can be the vessel of living light in this realm. Well, in the higher stations of identity, this is very much just a way of being. So we actually have guardian races who are living this mission within every heartbeat. It is who they are, and they are the ones that have really truly been protecting and helping us and assisting us from the non-physical form, from frequencies and vibrations that we can't physically see, but mainly because there's such high technological physics involved that we just aren't able to perceive them. So hopefully today we're going to start to be able to drop some of the veils between these just kind of dreamlike thoughts or mythos that we have in our mind, and start to be able to allow our guardians, our guides, the angelics, and the beings that we're communicating and the spirits that we're connecting with to become incredibly tangible for us. And how we get to start to do that is I really want to present the idea to you that the God source that we really talk about, that the infinite source, the original source of all creation, that the prime source, the prime creator, when we talk about all this, the radiant essence, is actually emanating from the core of our galaxy. That our galaxy at one point in time actually was connected to the Andromedan galaxy. So for those of you that are familiar with the Andromedans, for those of you that are familiar with, you know, their advanced spiritual dimensional counsel abilities and their compassion and their love, and how they have been assisting this galaxy. So they assist mainly by helping to enlist other races to assist. They are mainly counsel. They are mainly guidance. But the Andromedan races have been holding a very high portal and a gateway for us because our galaxies were connected. So if we can just go back a little bit to that idea of the divine Sophia and the realm of the aeons and how she burst into this universe, that she basically burst in and created this galaxy and this creation, we can start to get an idea that there was some sort of explosion within the universe that created a new creation, which is this galaxy, the Milky Way galaxy. And I do have a picture later because I think even the idea of a Milky Way galaxy for us seems like this tiny little thing, but when you see the Milky Way galaxy and where the Earth is and where we are in comparison to all of it, it is massive. Even though it's such a tiny part of so much more of creation, it is absolutely massive. So let me see where I'm at here. So from within this first bursting and the birthing of this creation, so imagine that from the core of the galaxy, we are emanating pure source radiance and light, and every light that goes out is holding all of the codes and all of the frequencies within it. And each of these frequencies and rays is actually emanating out. So as it exploded out, guess what starts to get birthed? Creation. Other planetary systems, stars, all kinds of things that are created within the universe, beings within it. So within this, and this is an actual picture of the Andromedan galaxy. So within this, I have talked with you before about the sound tones, the 7 original sound tones of creation. And they are broken down into Ka, Ra, Ya, Sa, Ta, Ah, La. And that from these original 7 sound tones of creation, that they are holding within them all the blueprints of what everything is created from within our universe, within our galaxy. So I do kind of use the word universe and galaxy interchangeably because it's just become so accustomed to me to use the word universe, but I will say that I'm referring more to our galaxy. So last time we talked about a little bit about our the Trinity or the Godhead. So basically to know that from this original emanation came 3 different orders, 3 different God source fields. So let me tie that back in again a little bit. So I want you just to, again, look in the bottom here, the divine Sophia from the realm of the aeons. I want to tie in the idea of the aeons, so kind of the Gnostic teachings, and I want to tie it in a little bit with some of the energetic synthesis kind of language, and talk about the Rishi solar suns and the Rishi God realms. So from within the center of the galaxy is emanating all of these light, but it's consciousness, it's infinite consciousness, it's intelligence. Our entire universe is a conscious cosmic being of intelligence, and we are that expression within it. And each and every one of us is holding the original sound tones of Ka, Ra, Ya, Sa, Ta, Ah, La. And I want to bring the awareness to you that as you notice when we see Ka, Ra, Ya, Sa, Ta, Ah, La written out in the anagram, it's crystal or crystalla or the crystalline being or the Christos being or the Christ avatar God beings. So this is the original source of where the Christos lineage comes from. When we talk about the cosmic Trinity, we hear about the Trinity in all of our teachings, that it's the Trinity, the Father, the Son, and the Holy Ghost, the Mother, the Divine Mother, the Christ, and the child. However you want to look at it in all of these different teachings, it really comes down to these 3 primal sound fields that are from the God source realm. And of these, this is what I love about this is where you get to start to become more tangibly aware of who kind of your root races are, or who your founders are, who the founding creators are of this universe. So within it we have the Emerald Order, which was the original emanation in sound. The second emanation was the Gold Order, and the third is the Amethyst Order. So each of these is holding different vibrations, different sentient beings within them, and different purposes within them. But each of these are coming from the metagalactic layers of our next universe. So these are the beings in the sound tone emanations that are coming from our other universe. And I don't have a picture to paint this idea for you, but it's that as each universe is created, they keep giving birth to new universes, and they keep giving birth to new universes. And in truth, that we have mother universes that we're born from. So it's inconceivable to our mind to even begin to try to understand some of the luminaries or the higher dimensional beings that even come from these higher universes. Because at this point in time, it's just enough for us to try to even understand mentally within this earth plane the Emerald Order, the Gold Order, and the Amethyst Order at the highest God source levels. So I'm going to break it down in the best way I can for you today. But the beautiful thing is to know is that as we've been aligning more and more with the galactic core, more and more the portals are being realigned again, which means we are going to be realigned and reconnected with the Andromedan galaxy appropriately once again. That tie that we had there was severed, and that's why a lot of our memories and a lot of how we have been functioning in this universe has been out of order, is because there has been a distortion within the universal fields, the plasma fields. So, and I have some great examples for us to get to understand that more on a physical level. So, to know that there's been a lot of false matrices that have been birthed or created within this reality. And as we go through the weeks, I'm going to get to explain how those get created, which really is going to explain that term that we hear all the time, timeline wars. It's incredibly real, and it's been happening for billions of years. And so now we get to actually see our part in it for collapsing all the timelines that are false and reconnecting our portal back to the crystal star. So again, if I could paint the idea for each and every one of you that each of us is emanating from the God source field through these founder races of the emerald, gold, and amethyst order. And we hold that DNA within us of the crystal star. And as we start to activate higher and higher our blueprint, we are actually allowing the communication to be able to reattune ourselves back with the higher levels, and to begin to actually kick out the archonic deception, the archonic energy that is even on this planet. So as we've said last time about redreaming the dream, so that the divine Sophia has been holding for us, that we actually be able to assist her in dreaming the dream. And we do that through our imagination. We imagine the world the way we want it to be. So here's just a little bit more about the Emerald Order. And I'm actually going to go ahead and switch on to the next page. So just showing that this is the tri-founder flame, and that from each of these flames, everything is created within this universe. So the Emerald Order is the first emanation of the primal field. So I want you to ask yourself, who do you resonate? When you I put the thought out there, like when you think about what you're interested in, what you're drawn to, what symbols kind of mean something to you, what pops up for you? And I will say, for those who are drawn to feline energy, for those that are drawn to the Oraphim energy, the Elohim energy, or even the Christos mission energy, this is really coming from the Emerald Order, the first emanation of the primal sound field. So the Emerald Order also holds a lot of energy from the Blue Flame Melchizedek Order. These were guardian races that have been assisting this time matrix in order to stabilize it, in order to be able to keep it into a harmonious balance so that it flows with all the other universes. So for us, we feel a universe out of harmony sometimes because we see some of the stuff here that is not emanating God source love, right? So we can see things that are painful and hurtful and out of alignment, out of love, out of light source. Well, that kind of stuff actually throws off, it creates rifts, actual rifts in the universe that affect other universes. And so therefore there are major activities that take place with different races from higher stations of identity to stabilize and hold the grids. And a lot of this is done if you do journey work with past life regression, any of that. I've traveled with so many of you who do a lot of this work, even in your dream time here while you're here, is holding the grid lines, actually restoring grid lines, restoring balance to light fields, restoring balance to ley lines, restoring balance to how the energy flows, clearing out nebulous energy or shadow energy in places. So that's the kind of stuff that is happening all the time simultaneously by all of these guardian races. So the Elohim feline races are part of our Lyran seeded races, our original seeding, our Lyran races. And they're also the founders of the Crystal races and the Ayani Grail lines that include the Oraphim. So the Oraphim are incredible. If I could even share with you a little bit, the Oraphim are working within our chemical reactions in our bodies. So when we think of angels, a lot of times we think of beings that are huge and massive and big, but truly within this universe, size is relative to our kind of our perception. And just as they can be massive and way bigger than us, they can also be completely working within our chemical reactions in our blood and restructuring our DNA and our hormone levels. And a really cool example of that, because this is something that I've been gifted to see over and over and over again, different ways in which they are actually working with our cellular substructures in order to help us regain our original blueprint back. So they're literally doing it right inside of our bodies from our strands of our DNA. But if you ever want to read an incredible book that has a lot of insight into recoding you and understanding kind of how they work on the inside. It gets a little heady sometimes, but you just got to let it move through you. It's called Downloads from the Nine from Matthias Fleury, and it is an incredible resource, especially the beginning. I think I have a thing in here where I'll read a little bit of what he wrote about the creation. If not, I will in one of the next classes. But just for you to know, if there's energy that resonates for you, again, I told you about doing mirror work. Notice what your face kind of changes into, what some of your different races or different other stations of identity look like. For myself, it came through that definitely one of the lineages that resonates for me is the Emerald Order, the Crystal races, the Oraphim, and the Lyran races. So I want to present this. So I shared with each of you a little while back about the books, the Gurkhu Chronicles by Anton Parks. And here's just a snippet from in there. So this is, they're talking about some of the higher dimensional beings that incarnate into lower dimensional realms. Tell me if this sounds familiar to you. The Christi are sons of the stars, Kadistu emissaries who work for the source. They never dissociate Gisu, which is the shadow, from Zalag, which is the light, and work in territory where these two energies have been dissociated. Theirs is not an easy task. They are often directly involved with beings who separate Gisu and Zalag from and worship only darkness. So the Christi, even the term, the way they pronounce it, is incredibly similar. The Christi are sons of the stars. And just to say, the Kadistu, I do have something written a little bit later, but the Kadistu, they're called the planners. So they are from the higher dimensional realms, and they actually are basically like galactic guardians who assist lower dimensional realms of being very much in council-like ways. So they basically, from that book, their term for what we might call the guardians is they just call them the Kadistu. So the Kadistu are basically higher dimensional beings who come from many, many, many different races and many planetary systems, but their main goal is that all of them are emissaries who are in service to the source. So, just to share that with you. The Gold Order, this is the second emanation of our primal field that comes out. So bringing this into kind of more of a tangible way, we can start to see that this is the Seraphim. I don't know if any of you guys have listened much to some of the information about the avians. I know Corey Good came out and started talking about avian races and different things like that, or the bird-like people. But these are the Gold Order beings. They're very, very high-level beings within our universe who are in service to source, but are also helping us and have been holding a lot of space for us. So the second light emanation is the Gold Order. These are the Seraphim. These are the avian bird people. And this is also the Athenian line, which are the solar rishi. So you've heard me say solar rishi a few times. Solar rishi is kind of the realm of the aeons, but this is kind of that aeonic energy that came out, which incarnated into the fourth harmonic universe, so down a little bit lower in vibration, in order to be of assistance. So just to give an idea again too, that in order for source to be able to affect or do anything within this universe, it actually had to step down into physical form in order to be able to participate within this universe. I'm going to go way back on this one and use that example again as that the universe is continually breathing out down the dimensions in order to breathe itself out into all of creation, into having an experience, and then breathing back in all of that experience. And every out breath creates an expansion, and every in breath creates more experience. And this is constantly the breathing of the universe, of how the universe is growing and continually expanding and being. And now let me paint the idea for you that in this out breath and in breath, there's something that has kinked in the lungs. Now there's a shortness of breath. Now there's like, I can't breathe, you know, and when you can't breathe, it's like, I can't breathe out all the way and I can't breathe in all the way. And that's really what our universe is experiencing, is it's having a hard time because of the discord and what's going on. So guess what we did? We all raised our hand and said, we'll go down in there and we'll help fix it. We'll jump in and we'll be the ones. And part of that is because we are part of some of these orders, these races that have come in. So these, again, the seraphim, if I could give you kind of a visual, the seraphim are like the winged angels. So the ones that are more in mythology as the angels that people think of with wings, that fly, that have the ability to have God-like capabilities, and they are created beings, which again, if I could just give you the idea that they are not birthed in the same way like out of a womb, but they are more of a created manifestation from the source field. So probably don't have belly buttons. The third level in order is the amethyst order. And the amethyst order, I know so many people that resonate with this order. This is the order where people who resonate with dolphins and whales and some of like the Pegasus or the avian Pegasus people. So this is like the winged horses and things like that. Oh, and one thing, if I could go back. Okay. So let me do this because I did not tie this in here. So the gold order, for any of the people who resonate with dragons. The Sophia Dragon Tribe, if you read it, the entire thing is about the seraphim. And also, if you read the downloads from the 2 books that I've been guided to, that I would highly recommend. I think they're beautiful. Also, working with the seraphim energy. So these are the angels. These are the angels that we would really think of that are the watchers, the creators. And these are also many of the ones who became some of the fallen ones. So the fallen, the Nephilim, are part of the seraphim. The seraphim lineage is one of the most manipulated lineages out there as far as like the alterations and clonings that happened with it later on. There are Anu seraphim races, so it's like Anunnaki mixed with seraphim races. So just to know, what we're talking about right now is the pure line races. We're talking about the first emanations from God's source. But I want you to know that as we go forward in the history and talk about it, all of these have had lots of different mixings as time has gone by. Much like if you were to look at somebody on the planet, or even myself, I hold many nationalities within me. I am holding many lineages of DNA. So just like that, a lot of these founder races are now mixed in many, many different ways. So the amethyst order, really beautiful order, can make you think of the indigo races coming in to be here of assistance. And they are the third light manifestation, the amethyst order, to come in. We're bringing in the violet ray. So the violet ray really started coming in pretty strong, probably around the 90s, maybe a little bit before that. And these, again, cetacean beings, the avian Pegasus and the aquatic Brahmarama. So the Brahmarama are basically whales. So if you could think of dolphin, whales, and all of our amazing aquatic ascended beings who have been assisting us, and to know that on many of the other planets, that that is the level of the races that is existing on those planets. So if you do read the Gurkha Chronicles, you are going to find out that when Barbalu created her children, so Barbalu could also be associated kind of parallel with some of the information of the story of Sophia, not the divine Sophia, but an aspect of Sophia. She's almost like a reincarnation of Sophia in physical form. That when she gave birth, because part of her is all of these lineages that we are dealing with, but two of her sons became, they're known as aquatic beings. And I don't have their names on hand right now, it's irrelevant, but just to know that that is also they are part of the Kadistu planners, which is, again, those are the guardian races, the beings that have been protecting us from the higher dimensional realms. So here we go. Kadistu, again, are the planners of the universe working for the original source. And the Kadistu community is made up of many, many galactic races. So much like when you journey and you travel to the Galactic Council and you can see all the beings there, they tend to look all different, right? Because we're all just coming together to assist in however way that we can. So, and in that, just to share, everything lines up all the time. So as you start to read things, I want you to start to find the terms that match. So now you're understanding the lineage of where the Seraphim came from, or the Oraphim came from, or if you hear about dragon lineages and how they came. Know that at the purest level that we all came from Prime Source. Did some of these races start to get inflicted with shadow? Absolutely. Absolutely. As every race has gone down the line, there are levels of it. And guess what? We're here to fix all of that, because that means that there's distortions all the way up. So when you think of dragon races at the highest level, these are the Sophia. These are in service to Sophia. These are in service to Source. These are in service to us, to bringing us back to our heart and the truth of who we are. And so when we look here at the Amethyst Order, notice how it's about that they are the ancient master builders and architects. Look at what they call the Kadistu, the planners of the universe. You can look in all these different texts, you're going to see terms towards creator beings, right? Planners, architects. These are all referring, when you start to hear these terms, you're hearing about creator level beings who are, for the most part, immortal. I would say most of the ones we're talking about are immortal, and they have all of the capabilities in essence of the God Source realm, all of the capabilities from the first emanation, from the galactic core beings, from the aeons. And as that, what are they doing? They're creating this universe. Now, let me give you guys an idea, because there's a lot of times people say, well, why doesn't God just come in and just fix everything, right? Like, why doesn't God just come in and make everything right? Well, I want you to imagine that you're an artist and you're painting a picture, and as you paint a picture, one of the lines goes off, or if you paint a picture, the color's off. In order to fix it, you literally have to sit with it and figure, what are you going to do in order to maybe move it back into line, or maybe change the color a little bit. It's about adding and moving and directing. It's very much about moving what is already created, because in order for them to do what we many times are like, why don't they just fix it? Well, that would pretty much mean erasing the universe and starting all over again, which is not what they want to do. So think about that. It's really about, say you've created an art piece and maybe something has happened, because something has happened. We talked last time about the oopsie of the archons, right? So this shadow is existing within this universe, and I'm going to talk a little bit more about it in a different perspective today. And this oopsie is in our universe. So instead of crumpling up this universe and throwing it away, what we are here doing, this is you and me and all of us here, we are part of these original seeded root races. We came here so that we wouldn't have to destroy the oopsie. We came here to outsmart the oopsie. We came here to get our memories back so that we could stand in our truth, our honor, and our power so securely that there isn't a single thought, feeling, or emotion that goes through your mind that ever takes you away from the love in your heart. That's what we came here to do. We came here to say there is not an ounce of suffering in this reality that I will buy into that will ever take me outside of being in a pure, infinite state of love. So I want to paint this idea for you now. As we think about the universe, if I show you this image here, this is really showing us our stations of identity. And if you could see the outer layers of the matrix, you would assimilate that as best you could to the idea that that is the galactic core, that is the God source realm, that is the original light source codes. That is where the light source field emanations are coming from. Now this is very much a real universe. And within each of what is called the harmonic universe, for short it's HU, in each of the harmonic universes you have a station of identity. So in this reality, here you are. Here are you. And in your next station of identity, this is where you're seeking to connect with your soul. When you are talking about wanting to connect with your higher self, to do soul retrieval, all of this stuff, what you are doing is you're really talking about the levels of dimensions 4, 5, and 6, really stepping into that station of identity. Because guess what? When you're in that station of identity, the physical reality can't knock you off your boots anymore. You have the ability to stay solid in who you are. So harmonic universe 2, your soul identity, harmonic universe 3, which is dimensions 7, 8, and 9, is going to be your oversoul identity. And then when we talk about our Christ avatar God self, again, remember the gold order, remember working within that ray of identity. It has stepped down. The Christos lineage, a lot of the Kadistu or the star people, the ones that they were talking about, the Christi that are incarnating, the Christ avatar, the Karaya Sata Allah, really resides within this level as an emanation, as a station of identity. We live it there. We are it there. And when a being from that level chooses to directly incarnate into harmonic universe 1, that is what we would call a Buddha, or an enlightened one, or an awakened one that awakens with all their memories, a Christed being. So, or some people in some cultures would call it a Messiah. So when a being from that level actually chooses to straight incarnate. So when I say straight incarnate, they're incarnating from that level of consciousness all the way down into harmonic universe 1. It is not an easy thing to do, and therefore it is incredibly considered a mission. Whereas usually what we do is we step down our stations of identity. We usually incarnate into this first harmonic universe from our soul identity. So we're usually incarnating from harmonic universe 2 down into harmonic universe 1. And every once in a while from the oversoul identity. But to come from the avatar identity here, you would literally be one of the beings that we talk about on this planet that come as a fully awakened being. Absolutely, with all your God source capabilities, miracles, all of that stuff would be the avatar identity incarnating. Just to give you an idea of how that looks like in our reality, right? And then when we talk about the Rishi solar suns, the God realms, the aeons, all of that energy, we're talking about them, how they incarnated down and they took physical form and anchored into this harmonic universe 5, which is 13, 14, and 15. It's the divine mother energy, and the Divine Father energy that is holding the Holy Trinity energy and the Rishic identity there. So these are what are the true ascended masters, if you will. When we think of ascended masters and people talk about the ones that we can name on the planet, those are not truly the ascended masters. Those are beings that are generally in harmonic universe 2 or even harmonic universe 3. But a true ascended master would be somebody who has been able to incarnate all the way back up, back to the galactic core, and hold that level of plasmic radiation again. So now let me tie into plasma radiance. Why do we spend so much time doing the shadow work, you guys? Why do we spend so much time trying to open our heart? Why do we spend so much time trying to do anything here if we could potentially just die out of this body and go back home? Here's why. In between each of these stations of identity, I want you to notice the red lines on this page, and they're called magnetic repulsion zones, but they're literal like rifts in the universe. There's like actual spaces in between the layers of the harmonic universes or dimensions that you can't just float in and out. You literally have to have the appropriate codes, and your body has to be at the right radiance. Radiance is the key. Plasma is the key. Dropping your physical body is the key. You have to be at the right luminescence and radiance in order to actually move through some of these layers. I'm not going to get a ton into that today because there's some cool stuff I want to share about that, because there's portals and gateways in between these zones, and that's why there's been so many wars over the stargates on the planet and different portals within the galaxy, because whoever dominates those, if they can shut one down, literally it keeps one dimension apart from another. And that's what we have experienced here for so long. We've actually been separated from the higher dimensions because the portals and the stargates have been shattered and broken, much like I talked about Andromeda being cut off from the Milky Way galaxy. This is actually affecting the higher dimensions, the higher stations of identity, to even be able to get down here and reach us. So even though the Kadistu planners, the guardians, wanted to assist, they could only assist if we found a way to get to them. Raise our vibration, meditate, lucid dream, astral project, get the heck out of our body, right? Get the heck out of our mind and be able to connect with them again. So in each of these, I'm going to show you how these are actually part of the reason why we even have some of the rifts when we talk about reversal realms, false matrices, when we talk about timeline jumps, timeline wars. This all happens on a galactic level within our planet through our solar system, through our star system. Actually, not our star system, not our solar system, our actual star system, the whole Milky Way galaxy. So, say for instance, when a star explodes, it actually creates a rift or a tear within the fabric of space. And when these rifts and tears happen, it creates distortions within the field. Some of these distortions, unfortunately, were actually created on purpose. So I'm just going to read this. There's just a couple more things, and then I want to tie up with some how this ties in with our human design too. So I loved this picture, you guys, so I just wanted to share it, because when I talked about the idea of that the Divine Sophia is dreaming and that she is holding the dream of our reality, this is such a perfect picture to exemplify how that even happens. And I will tell you, just from a personal experience, probably why I resonate to this picture is I've actually seen this. I have gone on a sacred journey before and actually been in a space just like this, where all the spheres of universes were around me, and I could literally hop into any one if I chose to. And this is really how we do create, how you can parallel jump, how you can actually hold the different dreams. And so this is such a great picture just to show us again that the Sophia is holding the dream within the universe that we are created in. So this is actually, I'm going to share just a little bit from this resource. I do say, I don't know exactly where I stand with all of it, but this bit resonates for me. It's from the Wing Makers information. It's an interesting bunch of information. It's basically, there were some caves that were located on planet Earth here, not actually that long in our history, within our lifetime. And as they were searching them and opening them, going through them, they actually found that they were from another race of beings, and that they had basically left stuff within there for us to find, and that whenever we found it, it actually activates our DNA and our information. And this is part of the information that was in the Corteum or whatever, is basically the body of information that they found within these caves. And it said the central race resides in the most primeval galaxies nearest the centermost part of the universe. According to the Corteum cosmology, the structure of the universe is segmented into 7 super universes that each revolve around a central universe. The central universe is the material home of the first source of the creator. According to the Corteum, in order to govern the material universe, first source must inhabit materiality and function in the material universe. The central universe is the material home of first source and is eternal. It's surrounded by dark gravity bodies that make it essentially invisible even to those galaxies that lie closest to its periphery. So it teaches that the universes they're stationary, they're eternal, and while the 7 super universes are creations of time and revolve around the central universe, that they actually they have a rotation and a spin around each other. But that information in there, that basically that source, in order for it to govern the material universe, it first had to come in and inhabit it. And I've seen that in many other sources, so I just wanted to say that. And also about the central race residing right in the centermost part of the universe. So that goes along with this information, and this is from the Hindu teachings. And the Hindu teachings talk about that there are 7 higher heavens and there are 7 lower heavens, and that within these realms that there is actually rings between them, that you actually have to find ways to cross into each of the realms, and that we're in the Bur Loka, I believe, and that where a lot of the God realm beings and things like that, as you start to go up, that there's different beings that reside in each of the levels of beings. And so it's just another way to show, but it also shows it within certain levels within this teaching, that it shows it planetary wise. So it's very much a star map, and really a huge way of looking at the Milky Way, you guys. So what I'm stumbling on here is really trying to tie in for you that even though many of these times look like, oh, we cross through veils and we cross through barriers and things like that, they actually have a physics to them. There's usually like photonic belts or photon waves or different kind of frequencies or coding that we need to hold in order to move through things. And all of these things really come from us starting to resonate at a higher level within our body. But a higher level really could be looked at in the same way as if you really wanted to wire some electricity through your house. You would want to make sure that you had the appropriate stability of cables in your house, because if you didn't use the high enough grade enough ones and you push too much electricity through them, you could literally start a fire and blow the whole thing up. So that's really what we're doing with our physical form, is we're upgrading our cables, we're upgrading when you're moving your kundalini through your body, you're blasting open your channels. You're preparing yourself to hold more charge in your body so that you can hold a bigger plasma field within your body. The bigger your plasma field, the more capability you're going to have to move through the stargates, which is going to allow you to move your consciousness and maybe even your physical form into these different realms where the higher dimensional beings are living. And they are living in realms that are just as real as ours. It's just a different constructs. They might be more etheric, they might be more plasma, they might be whatever, but they're still conscious living beings, no different than us, because I'm telling you, part of our stations of identity actually exist within these realms. And I do love the image here of the lotus, because when you think of Padmasambhava, he was the lotus born. He was known as the lotus born, the lotus created, that he actually came straight from the God source. In mythologies was saying that he came from the source and came into this reality. So I'm just going to stop the share on that. Perfect. So I'm going to just wrap up a little bit. The last thing I want to bring up in this, all of this information about the core, who these beings are, as I go forward a little bit more, I'm going to start sharing with you some of the our sub races, some of our tribes that have come from it, and start to trickle it down so the names start sounding more familiar as to how they are actual races and beings on the planet. My favorite thing is to look at different people on the planet and look how different we all look. I swear we all look like aliens, in my opinion. So as we look at this, now I want to just tie in our human design chart. When you look at your human design chart, allow yourself to look at your identity center, the yellow diamond in the center. And as you look at the yellow diamond in the center, just to remember again that that is our magnetic monopole. What that means is that is where the God source, that is where our infinite essence, the breath of Sophia, if you will, our soul essence came and seated right inside of us, right into our heart. And that within our heart is this pull, that this magnetic monopole is constantly pulling our vehicle towards situations, towards people, towards places in our life where we will be of best service, and most importantly, where we will begin to regather all our codes, all our information, and all of our memories back within this lifetime. Know that your magnetic monopole holds all of the memories of all of your incarnations, that it is truly the gateway to all of your records, to all of your stations of identity, and it has within it the pulse and the breath of the literal God source realm, the original source light within us. The tri-founder flame lives right inside our heart. And so therefore, our job is to get out of the way and let it pull us to where we need to go. Now I'm going to tell you, at first, it pulls us to places that feels like it sucks. Why? Because it's pulling us where we need to go in order to make the changes we need to change so that we can be more. So if our life is not completely happy and joyful and fun, guess what? Our soul is going to say, oh great, well in order to change that, let me show you this pattern. Let me show you this thing you've been doing. Let me show you this, because guess what? If you change this, if you allow yourself to let this go, if you allow yourself to heal this aspect, come whole again, that will not be a thing. And then now it moves, and that's not a roadblock anymore. So it keeps moving us to every place that has a twist, a turn, or something where a light code needs to be brought back into balance, and it gives us the opportunity to heal it through love, to heal it through mindfulness, to heal it through surrender, to heal it through neutral, compassionate witnessing, and just letting it go. So within your human design chart, you have built right within you whether it's defined or whether it's undefined. If it's undefined, you get to be that gift of being pulled, and you know that you get to experience the world through all the people around you. And for those of you that have it defined, you know that you have an innate pulse and drive within you. And that drive within you is meant to pull you towards, in order for you to be that signal and that bright light of leading other people to remembering what being in that pure source field is like again. So for each of us to know that there is no need to struggle in this reality. If something is a struggle, honestly, it's our chance to just step back, go, wow, okay, everything is being really difficult right now. I don't know why. I'm just going to take a minute and just see, where am I resisting? Where am I creating this? Where am I making this happen? So with that, I want to just bring this kind of into just a nice meditation for each of us, just a short meditation. All of the information that we have just shared in this very evening, I ask for you to bring into your heart. I ask for you to bring that which resonates for you. If there was a particular lineage or one of the founder races that really called to your heart, say hello to them right now. And in this moment, I invite each and every one of you to re-fortify your 24-dimensional shield around you. Get your Merkaba star spinning around you once again. Radiate your plasma field. Know that you have your own navigation device to allow you to travel through the entire galaxy. And all we need to do is just be still enough to learn how to navigate this vehicle. We have within us all of our angelic DNA codes. And in this very I am present moment of now, we give so much thanks to all of the ancestors, all of the guardian races, to all of our founder races, for being present with us this evening and holding sacred space and allowing us to reintegrate whatever is appropriate for us at this moment, whatever we are ready to receive. And in this moment, from our heart, we sound our heart tone to all of planet Earth. And as we each hold sacred space, I would like for each of you to hold this new galactic information and just offer it as a library of resources to every heart, mind, and soul on the planet that is seeking, that is searching, that is waiting, and that is wanting to remember. That in this very moment we raise our consciousness so that we can connect with the collective field of all of the planet. That we are here being the radiance of light, so that as we shine this sound tone to all of the universe, of our memories, of our remembrance, and of our remembrance of how important our heart is, how important following our magnetic monopole is, and how important it is for us to just get out of the way, and that within us, the heartbeat of the universe is always continuously leading us back home. In this moment, we give thanks to all of the guardian races, and we ask that each and every one of us can hold the space for every person on the planet, that even our small group can hold the field and the intention for all 8 billion people on the planet, in order for their hearts to be able to be cleared and open to receive whatever they are ready to receive, as far as that they have a family, they have guardian races. There are beings that are seeking to communicate with them. There are beings that have been holding the space of the law of one and love for them. There are beings that have been holding the greatest intention and love and support and compassion for each and every one of us. And even though we have felt like orphans, even though we have felt abandoned, even though we may have felt all alone on this planet, that we are waking up our eyes and we are growing up and we are seeing that all of our guardian races have actually been surrounding this planet this whole time, protecting us, holding us, making sure that our planet stays stable and supported in order to protect us. So to each of our guardian races, we want to send our heart to you and say thank you. Thank you for protecting us. Thank you for keeping the nuclear devices from going off. Thank you for doing all of the infiltration and the work that you've been doing to help support the angelic races for reawakening on this planet again. Thank you for assisting us in keeping the stabilization of the planet. Thank you for all the geographical things that you've been doing to help stabilize the earth and the planet so that she can keep supporting each and every one of us here on this planet as we raise our light in our mission of love and light here now. To each of the guardian races, we say thank you, thank you, thank you for all that you have been doing to send intentions to uplift the grid line, send intentions to reduce fear on the planet, send intentions to uplift compassion and love, send intentions to reduce fear, send intentions to help shut down any of the mind control that has been happening on the planet. Even though we have not been aware of many of the things that have been happening on the outer layers of our atmosphere, that we are acknowledging now that there are so many layers of things that have been happening to support us now, and we open our heart to say thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. From our heart, we open our heart now. How can we be of more assistance to this planet now? Go into your heart and ask yourself, ask your guides, ask your higher self. I surrender. How can I be of more assistance to you? How can I radiate more love on this planet? How can I help another see their divinity? How can I help the planet? How can I give as much love as I have been receiving? And in this moment, just an open heart, warmness, and thank you to all of our amethyst order, all of our aquatic family and races, to all of the dolphins, the cetaceans, the whales, and all of the other water beings that have been really actually stabilizing the most abundant grid line on this planet. For a moment, we lend our hearts to you as we amplify the grid of love, just letting pure love. And just for the last few seconds, I'm just going to invite you to open your heart to the galactic core, to your founder races, to the galactic core, to the pure source light, and just open your heart. See how much you can open your heart and let it open, 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 and then just let that love move through you and shine out of you. And just ask yourself, where is the most important place for me to place this love right now? Maybe it's around your yard, in your garden. Maybe it's with some loved ones. Maybe it's in the ocean or the waters of our planet. Maybe it's on a particular geographical location on the planet. Just ask your direction and your guidance. Help me direct where I'm needed most to intend this love to flow, and just let yourself be the funnel, that vessel of the galactic source light moving right through you and shining out. Anchor it right into this physical form. You are the divine creator in manifest physical form. The more and more you surrender the ego, the more and more the light of the divine is planted again here. And that feels so good. And taking one more deep breath. With so much love, we say thank you, thank you, thank you once again. I'm going to invite each of you to just maintain your heart open, channeling this love for as long as you feel comfortable. And with that, as we bring our sacred circle to a close, thank you, thank you, thank you, and so it is.